insurance, risk and pensions consultants. I worked for that company for many years. I rose through the ranks to become the East African director. They sent me to South Sudan. I went to Juba as a country manager. I stayed in Juba for 3.5 years. I built South Sudan Financial Services. It's a company as a director on behalf of the East African group of companies. Our company is in Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, and Tanzania. We have moved to Ethiopia just a few years ago. I also opened a liaison group, real estate, in charge of construction in Juba. I think I was the first Kenyan to introduce pension in South Sudan. In South Sudan, I went to build the country, to teach the Western country how to save for pension for the young people and for the army. So I have some experience in the army. If you never not a soldier in Kenya. So I did that, combining working with the white community, the foreign missions in South Sudan, because it's a war-torn country. So basically, I was dealing with people from Europe and America. People were coming to help Africa, and also the engineers who are mining the oil. I was in charge of the engineering part of it, the risk consultancy. In risk management, you look at the risk of the machinery, the capital, and the human capital. You know, capital is not just about money. Even you, all of you, you are human capital. And that's why I'm coming here to ask you for employment. Because I can see capital in you. You have ideas.
Just one question.
Yes.
You have some roots from Makueni.
Yes.
So are you a resident of Makueni or you
I'm a resident
transferred?
of Machakos. I migrated to Machakos 9 years ago. I got a piece of land in Kapiali. I built it there.
Kapiani where?
I am in county. My home is in county. County sub-location. At Sokone village, a town called Emilini. You know that place? Yes. That's where my home is. At Sokone village. But if you go there, they tell you that's the president.
Joseph, thank you for that. But if I may go back to your work experience,
Joseph.
If I go back to your work experience, they call you Mr. President or Musumbe. Just going back to your work experience, you've told us about the different companies you've worked locally, internationally.
I'm not finished.
But I just wanted to understand, what are you bringing back home with all that experience? What are some of the things that you would say, now this I'm bringing back home to my people in Machakos?
I've learned a lot by interacting with the international community, who are basically my clients, because in South Sudan, you are dealing with the donor community. So I've gotten a lot of connection with the donor community, which can uplift the life standards of the people of Machakos, especially the youth. But it doesn't mean that if you are retired, we are not going to take care of you. So I have a lot of skills interacting. What is important is when you go out there, you bring capital. Capital in terms of money, people, friends, and relationships. You know, capital is not just about finance. When you build a relation, you are building finance. Seek first the kingdom of friendship, and no other things will be added unto you.
Thank you, Joseph.
Just one question from Joseph. You have really worked with the NGO world. Is there any project, just one, or anything you initiated for the community, just like bringing home something from the world?
Either in Makueni or in Machakos.
You know, that's a... life is what happens to you while you are pursuing something else. it's not about the head, it's about the journey. Because the journey may be long. So if you travel slowly, meaningfully, controllably. I was working in a sector which is protected by law. I was doing bank assurance. Risk management is also about protecting the assets of my client. I was not a donor myself. So if I work with the donor community, I'm coming to insure their assets. To insure, I bring insurance, I bring risk control, I bring human resource consulting, I advise them on the kind of staff to employ. So I do human resource consulting.
So just this means you have never interacted with the people locally on development.
I have, but I on arm's length. Because I service the donor community, not the ground.
Asante Bwana Deputy Governor, on your side I understand, like sisi wote tunamjua ni Deputy Governor. Yeah. Na tunajua kuna yale amefanya, yale ambayo we have questions with. Si ndio? As the Deputy Governor of Machakos County, I just want to understand, if you were to rate your work in a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, where would you rate yourself? And you explain why. Give us examples.
One, I want to say that I brought a lot of administrative and leadership experience into Machakos County. As I came to Machakos County, and I said in my initial remarks, that I was the director in charge of Vision 2030 in Kenya. And therefore, I was the one who was conceptualizing, among other experts, conceptualizing all the flagship projects that have been implemented in Kenya today. In Machakos County, I was a very strong pillar and an advisor, of course, to the governor. When I was the Minister for Water, I conceptualized and implemented a strong water program. Before I left as the Minister for Water, we had already done 300 boreholes across the county. That was not matched, and today is not matched by any other county in Kenya. When I went into the Ministry of Roads and Infrastructure, because of my training and experience, I helped in designing some road infrastructure that we implemented. For example, I can name a few. When I was the Minister for Roads, we did Kapuyuni Kangundo Road with tarmac. We also tarmacked Kivandini Masinga Road, which is a road about 20 kilometers. And other related infrastructure projects that I may not mention all of them here. Apart from that, I came in with a very strong background policy formulation and implementation that is required in a government. Yeah. So again, I rose to become the CC in charge of finance and economic planning, and during my time, we developed what we call as the County Integrated Development Plan, which I've seen you have made a lot of reference in a document I've just read here. During my time as a minister also, when I took over, I found that we were collecting about $1 billion in terms of revenue. I grew it from $1 billion to 1.5 billion. And I was awarded for that. I have also been named as the best deputy governor in the Lower Eastern region. That's recent. That's recent, and you know that. You can Google, that information is there. And apart from that, of course, I worked within the cabinet and in the government to develop a number of policies that we are already implementing in Machakos County.
Thank you so much, Bwana Deputy Governor. Najua kuna mwenye anajiuliza, the Deputy Governor ametuambia so many things that wamefanya. But knowing that you're the Deputy Governor, someone would say, probably you are swinging on the benefits of what the Governor has done. What has you done as the finance CEC in Machakos County that you can differentiate or substantiate from the Governor?
I said when I took over as the finance minister, I found that the county employees were getting their salaries on, from 15th of the month. But I reduced that waiting period. Now they receive their monies before 10th. I also improved the revenue collection. I put up a system which is automated, and especially in Maboko and Machakos, where people no longer pay in cash, but use pay bills to pay for revenue, whether it is single business permits or cess or whichever. So I automated that system. I've said that during the same time I developed the county integrated development plan that was under my purview. And many things that I may not enumerate.
We'll be coming back to you because there are issues.
I also want to caution that when you are the deputy governor, of course you are an assistant, and everything that you do within the county and in success, whether it is done in a ministry where you are not in or a ministry where you are in, you have a hand in terms of your contribution.
Thank you so much, because there are also other issues, Mwenge, dealing with this docket as the CC Finance, issues to deal with CHVs. You understand, but we'll be coming back to you. Joseph, you want this seat of Governor Machakos. Why do you need this seat? If I may ask.
I want to finish answering the first question first. It's a question you asked me what I have done in Machakos for the people of Machakos. When I was outside the country, I was able to come back from a short stint, and I created the Machakos Institute of Technology. You can see it's above there, Equity back there. I was the past principal of that college, and I built it from scratch. I'm the one who did the partitions of that college, and you can see it's a very successful college, which is more than 10 years old. Anybody who has been my student in that college here? Yes, I was the first principal of Machakos Institute of Technology, the most successful private institute in Machakos County right now. It's a sister company to Kenya Institute of Social Work and Community Development, where I've been an external consultant for many years. So I've been in touch with the students who are doing diploma courses and distance learning. I was a trainer in that college for a whole year while we are trying to build it from scratch. Today, it's a successful college in Machakos. Can you clap for me?
I come back to that question. Why do you need this seat, your governor, and not any other seat in the county?
Oh yes. I looked at the people. First and foremost, when I joined politics in 2017, I was among the 18 presidential candidates who were competing with Raila and Uhuru in 2017.
Umemsikia amesema nini? Unaongea utasikia. He was among them? Yes.
That was you can Google the 18 presidential candidates. You see Joseph Usoka Masiri, number 7. Number 7 Mkongoni. I never went to the finals. I quit. I founded a political party called the Solar Motion Party of Kenya, which I'm not running right now because I went to Sawa Party as a governor candidate. And I wanted to solve the problems I saw happening in Africa. From the experience I underwent in South Sudan, I was there when the coup happened. They were trying to tear each other apart in South Sudan. So I asked myself, Masini, are you going to die in a foreign country while your people need your services? So when I came back, I founded my political party. I went for the presidency. na kura sikutosha, ikatokea hapo kidogo. This is 2017, this is 2022. I said, whatever the biggest are fearing, I don't know. I said, let me go for a seat, the governor seat. Because power, leadership, people, the problems of the people. I looked from Uganda, Rwanda, the places I visited as a manager of my company. I looked at Kenya. Kenya has so much to offer, but I saw there's some gap, because I don't believe in pointing fingers, because people point fingers at themselves, blaming themselves also. So I don't blame leaders. I say they have done their best. They have done their best, but they can do better. Because we have only 3 problems in this country, including Machakos. 3. Who can give me 1? There are 3 problems. Kwa Kikamba, kwa Kiswahili, kwa Kizungu. In English, ignorance, poverty, and sickness. There are only 3 problems in this country. Kwa Kikamba, uchumanu, ucha, na wau. Kwa Kiswahili, ujinga unatolewa na elimu. Ugonjwa unatolewa na hospitali kwa dawa. Yani uchumi unajengwa na wananchi ambao wanafanya kazi, sio wananchi ambao wanatembea hawana kazi. So to create wealth, you need to create employment for the people, and that's not enough. You need to create the capacity for the people. Capacity can be built, either you build the people, and also the capacity to tell the properties, to use the assets they have, the land, the water, the rivers. Because your capacity, there are levels of capacities.
Tupatie wakati tafadhali.
Yani capacity, yani, we're talking about wealth. There's psychological poverty, there's psychological wealth. Somebody can be very rich in money, but very poor in dealing with people. See, when you are talking about building a people as a leader, we are saying to build wealth, you look at the capacity. You may have land which is idle, and you say you are poor. You may go find somebody else with a very small piece of land, and he's utilizing it, and you find a flood outside there, and he's taking it from that small land.
Thank you.
Then you have a big land. So we are talking about your concept. What's your attitude to wealth? Because wealth depends on how you take it. You may be rich in ideas, but you are very poor in implementing those ideas.
Thank you so much. Joseph, as you have just described how you've been doing, I've not seen anywhere you've engaged the people doing development. I've not seen you anywhere in leadership. Now, let's assume it's 10th of August 2022, and you have been chosen, you've been voted in as the next governor for Machakos County. Where will you begin?
I'll begin with the people here. You are not here. No, you are not here for nothing. You are here to make me a better governor. You are here to partner with me. I can see ministers here who are going to work with me. I can see people who are going to be CS in my government here. You can see these ladies, young people, they are going to work with me in this government. I want you to join me. Join me, we build this thing. We have a strategic plan here. We want to improve it and make it better. You are the people who are going to make Governor Masini Musyoka the next governor of this county. The people in this hall. And I'm asking you, we pray for you. Now you are going to know me. You are knowing me now, and I'm going to know you more.
In short, Joseph, in short, these people, what they are asking, naomba tusikizane. In short, Mwenge amemuuliza, amekuwa na uhusiano na wananchi pale ground. Nyinyi mnamwona kwa campaign? Where is he campaigning? They want to know whether you have been campaigning, and if yes, where and through which channel?
Okay, me, I follow the law. I'm a good follower of rules. If I never follow the rules, I would never even have ended up land to a foreign country. Because I follow rules, wherever I go, I become very humble. Even the Bible says, be humble like Adam. Let me come to the religion. Let me finish.
Time is not about Saint Joseph.
You don't know.
We're coming there. We're coming
There's a
there.
guy that's a baby.
We're coming there. Tafadhali. Hello.
Are we together?
Hello. Baito tulimamwe. Baito mwaseo. Haya, toke baba deputy governor mandate.
Yes, tuendelee, tusiendelee. Tuendelee, tusiendelee. When one is forming a government, of course atakuwa na manifesto. Tunajua Governor Mutua akianza 2013 alitangaza na alikuwa na manifesto. One of the manifesto ilikuwa ni kuleta shower kwa kila nyumba, watu wakunywe na waoge. You happened to be the Minister of Water, the CC for Water in the Machakos County. Why did this dream not come true? Did you tell the governor this was unrealistic? Because wananchi walikuwa wanangojea maji, walikuwa wanangojea shower, and now you were blessed in the CC wa maji.
First of all, I want to say that what Governor Mutua provided for is a vision. It's a vision where he envisaged a situation where each house in Machakos County would have water. And you know, in leadership, you must have a vision, and occasionally you may not be able to achieve that vision during your term, but you have provided a vision. So politicians have picked it wrongly and said, oh, Governor Mutua told us that he wants water. Yes, but that was a vision. The second governor will still not be able to achieve that. The third governor, because houses will still be coming around, settlement will still be around. But what we are urging is towards achieving that dream by ensuring that every village in Machakos County has water. Once we have the water resource, that is when now you start distributing into the houses.
Are you telling us when you were campaigning, you knew that this vision was never to become unrealistic, and you went ahead to tell these people tutawaletea hot shower knowingly hazitawaifika? Because I believe by the time you have a vision, you need to have a mission on how to get there. Ama vipi? Kindly respond to them.
One, there is a difference between where you want to go and where you are.
And how you will get there.
And how you will get there.
Yes.
For you to be able to get to where you want to go, you must be able, first of all, if it's about infrastructure and water, to mobilize resources to be able to do that. You must be able also to find the water. For example, we use the method of drilling boreholes, we use the method of construction of dams, but the kind of resources that are required to be able to do so are so enormous that you may not be able to achieve such within a period of 5 years. And that is why, for the last years that we have gained independence in Kenya, we still do not have water everywhere. So how would we have how would we have gotten to that level within a period of 5 years? I want to put it to you that we have sunk 660 boreholes. There is a number in the country compared to any other county. Yeah, the water is free. The water is free. The water is free, and we continue doing so. We continue doing so. The other issue you have to understand here, and allow me to become a bit technical, is that Machakos geographical area is 6,000 square kilometers. And for you to be able to take water to households which are sparsely populated, I mean distributed, you require a lot of resources in terms of piping, but in towns where houses are very close, you don't require a lot of resources. So we have that challenge, but the dream is still there.
So meaning at what percentage of you?
We in terms of water access now, we are around 60%.
Joseph, let's come to your side. 60% already now. The 40%, if you are chosen to be the next governor of Machakos, how are you going to make sure that we achieve that 40%?
That's 40% of water?
Yes, access in every home.
Water access?
Yes. Hello? Let's listen to the aspirants.
First of all, the question you're asking is like cooking food. You're hungry and you start giving the food to somebody else and you have not eaten yourself.
It's like you're becoming an excuse. And it is what I'm asking is, like, when we are talking, I'm talking, I've thrown a question to you. Deputy Governor is saying they have achieved 60% of access water in Machakos. So what I wanted to know, because he wants to become the next governor of Machakos, how are we going to achieve the next 40% due to 100%? But you cannot tell me you've not already tested that food. Kwa hivyo ujui hata test ya chumvi iko aje. We need to know how are you going to achieve that.
Yes, that 40% is very small amount remaining. Because first of all, I wanted to verify whether it is 60%. I went to school, I don't accept fingers unless I see. I need to go and count the balls myself. If I go to Machakos as a governor, I know to verify whether it is 60%. We will talk about 60%. When I went to school, I used to go to do an experiment. I used to observation. I don't listen to words. I have to go and see the balls and count. So that I can know if it's 60% or 30% or 40% or 20%. Maybe you could be talking about 60, maybe they have done 80. I'm not criticizing. Or maybe it could be less, because I don't like to be negative. I like to be positive, because we are here to build. I'm not criticizing. I'm just trying. I want to go back verify. It could be 70%.
Do you know why I am being tough on Francis Maliti? Because he's the sitting deputy governor. Na lazima tumweke kwa kikaango, si ni kweli? And him being the CSC of finance, yeye ndio anapeana pesa, yeye ndio ukuri ya tano wa kule national wa hapa kwetu, si ndio? So kwa zile pillars ziko pale: water, education, agriculture, leadership, health and safety and security. Kuna donda sugu hapa na linahusu afya. Ndio. Si kweli? Afya. Yeah. We've been having issues with our health professionals here in Machakos County. Madaktari kuna juzi ama ni the other not madaktari, they are workers, cleaners, au wengine unakumbuka kulikuwa na an issue. There have been an issue with the CHPs wakilalamika kwamba those are very long hawajalipwa. They said in the morning ukienda hapa Machakos level 5 wataenda watibiwe, but wataambiwa dawa enda kwenye chemistry pale kwa hapo. So we just want to understand what is the issue with health sector in Machakos County, na mambo ya kulipa kama ni madaktari ama ni au CHPs na au wengine. Just be clear to these people, because kuna CHPs hapa, si ni kweli? Ulilipa mwisho lini?
Thank you.
You can use Kiswahili, Kizungu. Listen to Maliti. Hello.
I want to say that Machakos County was one of the pilot counties for implementation of universal health coverage. Universal health coverage means free health care. So you get into our hospitals and you are treated free. Now, when we started universal health coverage, we were financed by the national government. We were given 800 million. And then we also put up another 800 million. So we had a budget of 1.6 billion to undertake or to take care of healthcare in Machakos County in one financial year. Being a pilot, that was a test run. We bought drugs. We allowed people to access our hospitals and get services free. But the numbers, the traffic that was coming into our hospitals increased 10 times. People from Mwenge started coming into our hospitals. People from Kitui, people from Nairobi, people from Kajiado. And remember, you cannot be able to deny. You can't deny them all the services because it's a human right. So our drugs, and other health services became burden. Kwa kiwango kwamba zile drugs ambazo tulikuwa tunaweka kwa hospitali zilikuwa zinakwisha kwa haraka. Na huo mwaka wa UHC ukapita ukaisha. Now in the next financial year, the national government decided that they were no longer going to finance universal health coverage. And therefore, Machakos were left now to finance ourselves universal health coverage. So we allocated 800 million, which is far much less than what we had allocated the previous year when we were implementing the UHC, because it was 1.6 billion. So the amount of drugs that we could be able to procure with 800 million cannot be the same as what we could be able to procure with 1.6 billion. And that is why we started having shortage of drugs, certain drugs in our hospitals. However, we have come up with a solution. We have realized, and the country has realized, after testing free medical care in Machakos, or healthcare in Machakos, we are practical to give free medical care. So we are transiting to what we are calling based. So we are going to require every household, and a household is where there is a man and a woman, or a man and children, or a woman and children. So we are going to require that in that household, when one person pays 6,000 shillings annually, you will be given a card and you will be able to access now medical health care anywhere in this country, now free of charge. If you do your calculations, you will find that you are paying only 17 shillings per day. We have also realized in Machakos there are people who cannot afford 6,000 shillings per year. So we have mapped the entire county, and we have found that there are 48,000 households who cannot afford. When I become the governor of Machakos County, I will pay for those who cannot be able to afford 6,000.
Thank you so much.
You talked about CHPs. It's important I talk about. Yeah, because short to the yeah. Remember, this is a very weighty matter, as you put it. So
Tusikize and to address
now,
that
on
question.
CHPs, we did a budget, and then I was the Minister for Finance, and we did a budget for 84 million to pay our CHPs every month. But when we took our budget to the county assembly, instead of putting the money to pay the CHPs as an allowance, they put it as salaries. And remember, our CHPs are community health volunteers. So when we started paying using the IPMI system, that is the financial systems that we use, it recorded an error because it was questioning who is this that we are paying who does not have a personal number in the county. So we had to revert, take it back to the county assembly for a supplementary, which was approved by the county assembly. That takes a bit of time because we are involving another institution. And now we have money to pay them. The only problem is that we get disbursements from the national government. As I talk, the last time we received money from the national government was in March, and now we are approaching June. So that is the kind of circumstance that we have. But there are some people who are taking politics to the CHVs. They know I interact with them. I've been interacting with the CHVs personally, even at my level, explaining to them our circumstances. But I'm glad to report here that those of you who are CHVs here, from in the next 2 or so weeks, you'll have another tranche of money in your pocket.
Thank you so much. And before we come to you, Kumbuka, we are live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. I choose Live Africa. Facebook. Twitter. I choose Live_ICL. Hashtag Nani Kiongozi. You can follow us there. To go live. Send your questions, your comments, and we are going to read them live. Sawa sawa, Mwenge.
Nataka turudi kwa Francis.
Joseph.
Tunaenda kwa Joseph kwanza.
Yes.
Okay. Joseph. Kiti ya ugavana si kiti mchezo. Kweli ama si kweli? It is seen that you're really looking for this seat, but it's like you're not serious.
Very serious. Very serious. Very serious.
Prove it to us.
Nataka nikunje uso. Wote kama niko serious. I'm very serious. You can hear there are 14,000 families who cannot afford 6,000. Surely, why can't you empower them? Empower them. They have land, they have homes. You can just say, let me supply 500 chicken to every home with the food. Within 3 months, you pay each chicken 1,000. Every home will get 500,000 Kenya shillings in 3 months. You empower them. They put the money in the bank. Why should you make them slaves so that you become charitable?
Joseph, in Machakos County, how many sub-counties do we have in Machakos County? How many sub-counties do we have? How many sub-counties do we have in Machakos?
We have 8, and let me check the population, the voters.
True or false?
This is the latest data for Machakos. The voters, the population is 1.2 million.
I was coming there.
But the voters have increased. The voters were 630. I have data here. They are 688,000. Just they'll be adjusted. I know within the next two weeks, the ABC will produce the final data. These are rough data.
So how many locations do we have in Machakos County?
Locations, I've never looked at them, but I know the ones are 40.
Okay, thank you so much.
Which is the farthest corner?
Masika Kitaruma.
So if you don't have the graphics of Machakos, the locations, how will you manage to go to those areas?
I already have the photo works. All of them.
Okay, you know my mentioning.
Yes.
My question is, you've not been seen campaigning. You don't know the areas. You know them by names.
I answered that question.
Okay.
After the reason why I've never gone campaigning, the IBC said don't start campaigning unless you are cleared. For me, I'll be cleared on the Saturday on the 4th. From 11, what was got me in Machakos here. Next Saturday, 4th, 11.
How do you know
at Machakos Teachers
How
College.
do you know Machakos?
I know Machakos. I've gone Machakos, every place Machakos.
Nataka tu nieleze Machakos. We have areas za milimani za chini wapi. They need what as the governor of Machakos 2022.
You know, the constituencies in Machakos are different. They are very different. They are not the same. For example, if you look at Mafoko, it's cosmopolitan. It's basically made of almost a half. They are not even. They don't even talk Kamba. They talk English and Swahili. These are people who are based in town. You cannot compare them with people in Mwala. Farmers. who are just sand harvesters, people who are looking at farming. Most of them have gone to live in towns because the place is semi-arid. If you go to the places, I've gone to many places in Machakos, you find it's only the old people. The young people are going to town. And doesn't mean they are working, they have no work. They just go there. People are selling cows, money of their children in Nairobi, who have been tarmacking endlessly. If you go to they have a lot of agricultural activities. They have horticulture. They have avocado. In fact, Kangundo and Tala, they are the leading counties in Ukambani in terms of tax revenue to this country. Tala is number 4 in this country. The town which remits the biggest amount of money to the tax in this country.
Asante, tunaona anaelewa. Nataka tukuje kwa bwana. How is your dream vision Machakos County in the next 72 days to elect? We are almost 72 days to the general election, or let's say on 10th of August, kwenda na mbele, in case we elect you as the governor of Machakos. Tupatie before hata tuko elect the vision yako and the dream for Machakos people.
Thank you. Arising from the 9 years that I've worked for Machakos County, I have understood the socio-economic needs of the people of Machakos County because of the interactions that I've had with them, the studies that I've conducted in Machakos County through observation and by interaction with the people. And therefore, I know the gap between where we are now in terms of socio-economic development and where we should be if Kenya was to become, and Machakos would be part of that middle income country. So my vision is a situation where in every home we shall have people drawing water and clean water. My vision is a situation where every youth who walks out of their homes to go and look for a job will be able to get a job. My vision is a situation where every child born here in Machakos will be able to access education and quality education. My dream is also a situation where every person in Machakos County will be able to access world-class healthcare system, regardless of whether you are young, old, disabled, or a person of another nature. My vision, one of my pillars, is to come up with a youth empowerment program where I will recruit youths who are below 40 years in Machakos County and bring them to a central point where they will be trained on life skills and core values akin to the National Youth Service System for about 2 months. Thereafter, I will screen those youths and take them for various training institutions, and especially the vocational training, what we call as TVET. My understanding, and I did studies in other countries, is that there is no country which can develop if you do not empower your youth with the employable skills. And that is one of the areas I'll be targeting. The other area would be women empowerment. If you go to our rural areas, women are going to what we call malolondo, just to borrow from each other 100 to 200 shillings. I will establish a fund to support women so that they can be able to borrow. And I have modeled and determined that a fund of 500 million shillings annually would be able to allow these women to borrow so that they can be able to do business, expand their agriculture, and do many other things that they are supposed to do. I have a vision for infrastructure. I intend to continue tarmacking all the roads that are not tarmacked. I know how many roads can be tarmacked, and I know the county has a capacity to tarmac 50 kilometers every year. I will also partner with the national government and identify several other roads that should be tarmacked. In terms of healthcare, I've talked about the transition from the from the input-based financing to output-based financing, where we will partner with the NHIF to ensure that our people can be able to access healthcare. In terms of urban planning, our towns are not properly planned, and have intentions to ensure that we do proper surveys so that we do not have slums mushrooming all over in our towns. In terms of investment, I will come up with incentive systems that can allow investors who have money to come and put up shop in Machakos to do manufacturing and do other businesses. The reason why many investors don't come into the counties or the country is because we have not created an enabling environment. They find an enabling environment in our countries and they go there. But if you create an enabling environment by having a proper infrastructure, incentive schemes for business people, security and safety within our county, then we are going to attract more investors and bring the dollar into our county. And that's how now we'll create employment for our youths and create wealth for ourselves.
You've mentioned something to do with tickets to the market. Before we come to your dream or your manifesto, Joseph, you've mentioned something to do with TVET. There's someone here called Dixon Muli. He's saying TVET students of Machakos University are not getting 35,000 shillings government support fee that all TVET students are getting countrywide. May you tell us how you are going to address this issue? Hapa tuko Machakos University. We have students here. Our party of 35,000. How are you going to address this?
For us, Machakos University was not identified as one of the beneficiaries. But now that I've learned that, it's just a question of sitting down with the national government, because that money is given as a grant by the national government, and also including those who are within Machakos University in the list of the beneficiaries. There's something I didn't talk about, agriculture. You know, for countries to develop, you must move from a comparative advantage. If your economy is agro-based and you want to move to manufacturing, then you must strengthen your agriculture, because that is your comparative advantage. So that now, when you are shifting now to the next level of value addition, you can use the local resources, the local raw materials produced under that sector, which gives you comparative advantage. So when I become the governor, I will also have a shift from what we do in terms of growing mangoes, growing maize, growing coffee, growing pigeon peas, to a level where we are capable of adding value to our produce so that we don't sell it the way it is. Our farmers also have a problem with aggregation. That is why they are unable to access their markets, because they walk alone. You harvest and walk alone to the market. That does not work in the market. I will put the farmers together, for example, into cooperatives, into circles, so that when they produce, they can aggregate the produce and sell it together. And that is when they are able to, first of all, get markets and also get value. So I think I can talk and talk about.
Joseph, hatujasikia manifesto yako. Iko vipi?
Okay, my manifesto is different. You cannot do the same thing every year. You cannot do the same thing every year, year out, and expect different results. You keep doing the same thing every year. You are talking about Mwenge, merry-go-round. Cooperatives, for what? To employ people, you look at the results. In Machakos County, everybody comes from a home, they have land. Do they? Yes. The land is idle. All the insects. The grass is drying. There is no chicken, there is no goats to eat the grass. You find one cow, others have no cows at all. And they say they are poor. A quarter acre, you put 200 chicken. As a governor, I give you 200 chicken every home. I give you animal feeds. I make sure that fertilizer is free. Yes, I give you free fertilizer. I give you free chicken. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you. In 3 months, I come and buy your chicken 1,000 each. You'll have 200,000 in 3 months. Me, I export it abroad and get 2,000 from each chicken. And I empower you. Where will you get 200,000 in 3 to 4 months unless you are rearing chicken? 42. Agriculture. That's agriculture. Point number 2. Your grandfathers brought you where you are today because you used to take animal milk, cow milk, goat milk, sheep milk. Every home has sheep. So we are talking about, as a governor, I'll give you, I'm telling you, your grandfathers were richer than you. You are poorer than them. Because your grandfather had 100 goats, you have only 2. As your governor, I'm going to start with 6 in every home. Let me tell you, every home, if you give these people, you are calling them beggars. They are not beggars. They can even pay the school fees for those 35,000. How many goats can you sell? Only 10. 10 goats for 4,000. Go to Masai Market. A goat is 4,000. Go with 10 goats. You'll come home with what? 40,000. So that student can be empowered in a period of 6 months to stop even asking for, as a beggar, asking for someone to pay school fees. Because if I give you mbuzi 5 jike na 1 dume, mbuzi anazaa mara ngapi? 2 kwa mwaka. Kwa hivyo miezi 6 hizo mbuzi zitakuwa ngapi? 10. Ukiongeza hii dume itakuwa 11.
Asante Joseph.
Just one. Na watu wa Mlolongo Athirifa watalisha wapi? Watu wa Mlolongo Athirifa watalisha wapi?
Those ones are giving, I'm giving them poultry.
Kwa plot.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Ningetaka kwa maswali na tuingie Facebook kwanza, tuchukue some questions from Twitter, Facebook, and then hapa tunataka uinue mkono mahali huko ndio tukuone from nyuma huko. Mzee ako hapa, mzee kuja.
Na tunataka
kina mama
msinishtaki kwa jinsia kama doa wanawake, waume, youth, hivyo si ndio? Sio ati ni madoa wengine.
Tuko na mzee, sioni mwanamke, sioni.
Tuenda kibula yani.
Kuna yule ameinua mkono huko nyuma. Mwenye kofia kuja tafadhali. Hakuna mwanamke leo. Aleti. Haya, kuja from huko nyuma kabisa. Tuko na mama huko nyuma.
Hata students wenye wana maswali wa Machakos University.
Kuja huyu mwenye t-shirt.
And like I said, we are live on Facebook. I choose Life Africa. Bran Rotich anauliza, how can fertilizer be for free? Sijui Arabic. Joka, sijui. Joseph Mutungi anafollow. Patrick Kibaya says government business should be left for tested and proven technocrats. Kwa hivyo, mjue watu wa Machakos on who to choose between Joseph and Maleti. Selinda Major, Joseph has nothing to offer Machakos residents. Sijui kwa nini anasema hivyo. Josephine Mutungi anauliza, Joseph, free things aje? You should be teaching us on how to fish and not giving us fish. Aya, Patrick Kibaya anasema, this guy Joseph is a comedian.
Sababu ya kamera.
Atatueleza kama ni comedian. Si ni kweli? Spencer Wambua, free chicks and fertilizer. Joseph, will you get all these free things if the national government is unable to offer? David Mwenge, thank you. Joseph is a definition of a leader with unrealistic dreams, policies, and zero ground engagement. Innocent boy. Then, Miles, I think we need realistic manifestos. Let's not lie to voters. Anasema kwa Bwana Maleti na kwa Joseph, you come up with realistic ideas. Albanas Muga Mangengele. Ask Engineer Maleti, how will we make Machakos afford world-class healthcare as he has opined? Twebikia uimawamwe atausu wango chayolo. Salimaik, Maleti is giving other aspirants sleepless nights. I don't know how. Evan Kelo Loveto, I like the way the deputy governor is articulating issues, facts, but also Joseph, you can try him watu wa Machakos. Chris Mtetezi, thank you so much Enoch Musui for following and watching. Tunaambiwa kwamba we have one sober leader, one who is not sober, kwa hivyo mji. And we can have only one question, tafadhali. Moja, please. I don't know whether you'll take a pen and paper to write the questions.
Asante Mwenge. Kwa majina naitwa Captain Joseph Musyoki. Mimi nataka kuuliza Bwana DG mambo ya maji. Ametuambia kwamba Machakos County imechimba 600 balls. Lakini wananchi, mimi nataka tufanye hivi. Tumekuja kusikiza debate, but we need to be serious. Tusikuja hapa tu kuchea watu kuwafurahisha, but they are not doing to our expectation. Swali yangu ni hii, balls zimechimbwa 600. Unajua the more unachimba ball nyingi maji inateremka chini, si ndio? Alafu ukichimba ball au chimbi ball upatie maji hao watu wa karibu. Unachimba ball upatie mpaka ule mtu ako mbali. Shida ya zile ball zimechimbwa kwa kaunti ya Machakos, zimechimbwa na hazijakuwa installed. Hakuna tangi, na ukipata tangi imewekwa chini. Kama private people wale wanapatiana maji, wanachimba ball, after kuchimba ball wana erect juu. Wanaweka zile stands, ndio? Alafu wanaweka matangi juu. Ukiweka hizo matangi una install power. Unapata ziko na power, unapata hiyo ball ikichimbwa hapa, hata ule mtu wako kule mtutuni atapata maji. Si ndio wananchi? Ya pili, ndio nimalize maneno ya education, Bwana Maleti. Tunajua maneno ya education kwa county ni hizi ECD classes, ndio? Mimi natoka Athi River kuna class ambao mimi nilisomea 1994. Hapa mahali panaitwa Mavoko Primary. Hiyo class niliongea na mwalimu wangu, akaniambia sisi watoto hapo wanaishi vibaya kwa sababu hii class haijakuwa renovated na hakuna kitu imefanyiwa. Nataka bwana DG utuambie from Athi River umetengeneza class ngapi za ECD? Mumeweka chakula kwa shule ngapi? Alafu pia ni walimu wangapi mumeajiri? Alafu nikimalizia tu kidogo Bwana Mwenge, kuna jambo lingine imekuja inaitwa ECD, inaitwa CBC, si ndio? Hao ma MP wanapatiana basari, hakuna basari ya CBC, si ndio? Bwana Gavana, Mungu akikusaidia, hao watu wa Mavoko wa Machakos wakikupatia kiti, wazazi mnaumia, muongeeni ukweli, si ndio? Unatoka kazi, ukifika hivi unapata kuna vitu mtoto ameambiwa lete, na hizo vitu unapata zina cost either 200, na wewe umetoka mjengo haujapata nini, haujapata hiyo kazi. So muangalie after next government, at least hata kama sio kwa national government, kwa county government kukuwe na hata kama ni ka CDF ka hiyo ECD.
Asante, and I want to
thank you.
Twakuebi ndayasa kila mundu leso mimi natuigua masane yana. Kwa hivyo let's be very short and brief. Si kweli?
Baba akimaenda hata basinga tu. Akimaenda hata kaiwa. Tafadhali tu. Kwa hiyo bali.
Sawa, nashukuru. Kwa majina ni Steven Musyoki from Mchituni. Swali langu ni kwa Deputy Governor wetu. Wewe ni waziri wa fedha na tunakutegemea sana. Na mimi ni mzazi. Watoto wetu wanafanya kazi pale hospitali. Tunachokuomba katika huu msimu unaokuja, uweke landmark kabla hujatoka, umake sure zile kesi zote za malipo ya watoto wetu umetia tick na wanalipa.
Thank you so much. Naitwa Jacob Mtambuki Ngumi. Mimi nafanya na NGO sector in Machakos County and from Machakos Central Ward. Niko na swali mbili kwa governor. Governor Maliti. Swali ya kwanza ni kwamba corruption has been very prominent in Machakos County for the last 2 terms when the current governor was in charge. My question refers to ya kwamba tunataka huyu governor hapo saa hii alikuwa CC Finance. Atuambie ni kwa nini contractors alipa kaunti ya Machakos, ni kwa nini watu wengi they were given employment letters ya kazi but they have not been paid. They were sacked and they took a case to court. So when you look at the Auditor General's reports, they show a lot of corruption in Machakos County and even the CC Finance. How are we sure then when he becomes the next governor, he will clear all those issues which are affecting him even now?
Na Mwenge, naomba because those 2 questions zimedirectiwa Bwana Maliti ajibu kabla zipotee. Na ujibu tu kwa kiharaka na kifupi.
Can I use kama? Asante. Mbe yenda pasi ya ikulo yambe ulwa kengu na nikula wa niki tinzeta singwe mwe noke there imwe timbekie pam na nienda kuwezesha kubebi kana katika water program kendo chambe kila tu plan yani ku optimize kana kusisia pesa ila tena sio kito na utumata ando mabikiwa ikibu onayemba webikiwa ikibu ombo libuto mekwa nondo kwa banga tenza bo imwe na tuweke matangi na tuidistribute in a village masakuni village bewa 4,000 au ukendea pesa ila tena sio distribute kengo katika village ni hivyo au as a strategy ya kufikia andwainge kazi ya step ya mbele kwamba umandeke chamba umanga na udima geologists step ya keri kwenza step ya katatu kuikuza bo nikenda kimbu chumegu andwainge within that village no kemandwe kimbu step ya kana distribute kibu kwenye chabikia village sio yuko tunapo yakano siko kwa dunia ba otherwise kaya katamuye kalatenza boho the truth is beauty where there are many villages in Machakos County till reach don't ever they spend around 3 million in one village as opposed to what we are spending now which is around 900,000 and therefore reaching more villages. Phase 1 to phase 2 progressive. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Thank you very much.
Is it like mini ikulu like dawa
Eba kula ECD ndio kula misala ya huko bima.
Maboko kuna ECDs na ECDs yetu ya maboko ni operational. Lakini eti sema maboko na pressure ndio wa population. Kwa tuende na mwanzo tuweke pesa bingangi ningenda tuongelee. Mwenge wale umbekisi. Ningenda tuongelee. The number of ECDs we have 1,000 ECD teachers in Machakos County, the highest in the country. And we get to my compared to other counties. And that we can confirm.
Thank you.
The other question was what? Let me answer all the questions. Yeah? So let me answer.
Contractors, very good.
About corruption. Now, what we put, the question you put it so politically, not do it. And when a corruption, governor wa county is the rate one. Governor number 1. On the same rate one, anafika.
Tunaambiwa kujibu kwa Kiswahili ndio waelewe wote.
Yeah, nataka kusema hivi kwamba mahali iko corruption in a county
there is no way a governor can be rated in Kenya. Governor number 1, governor number 2, or governor number 3. And Machakos progressively, in all the years, we have been rated among the top 10 performing counties in the country. Governor number 1, governor number 2, up to governor number 5. We have never voted. Governor Mutua was voted the best governor in Africa in just a few months ago. So when you say corruption, you know the institutions that deal with corruption. If, for example, Malete was corrupt, we have ESCC here in Machakos, we have DCI here in Machakos, we have police here in Machakos. They would arrest me even from here because they would be having evidence that Malete is corrupt. So hii maneno ya siasa hapa, na tunajua mahali ilianzia ya kuonyesha kwamba Governor Mutua is not performing, his government is not performing, just for purposes of political competition. Otherwise, watu ambao ni corrupt, we have not tolerated them, and anyone who has been found corrupt, and you can go to the records, are facing the law in the courts, but not the contractors. Mambo ya contractors, I need to explain this. Hapa, Machakos level 5, we use a contractor for cleaning services. Somebody has been contracted to do cleaning services. Now, for you to be paid, you must do the job first, so that you can be paid.
Who is that person who has been given that work?
We have agreed with the contractor in the contract documents that the contractor should have the capacity to be able to pay his employees before the county can be able to pay that particular contractor. And because nataka uelewe,
tunaelewa vizuri na ni vizuri aeke kila kitu wazi, si ndio? And I'm not taking sides. We want to know because kumekuwa na malalamishi, some of the people being awarded these contracts ni wafanyikazi wa the same county. So as you also explain that, it is good you tell us who is this contractor amepewa kazi pale hospitalini ya watu kuosha. And be open because we know.
I don't know whether you understand something on protection of data. Perhaps when you're asking me that question, you may not be aware.
But also the people of Machakos who have employed you people, they need to understand.
I want to explain here. If you want to know who is employed as a contractor to conduct cleaning services in Machakos County, you can ask the employees, because they have an employer. Those employees have an employer. I want to explain. Let me explain. Thank you, Mama.
I'm down there. Now, when you want to say Joseph Musiokiwo, Joseph Musioka Masidi, Mukula Siawu. Sorry, Mukula Siawu, you have a little town, Mukula Siawu, Joseph. Where, we're not going to see an answer. Ninevalunatu wako utono manata madina mando mama sabu nundu twake takukonia bata kwa ndingwenda ututagie utono utuku mata tano mata mama sabu ila jingi ni kula sia Malete mheshimiwa Malete kula sia u ni twasema matangwa ndo mandiki to the round na ivye ando mama sabu netuye maga watu kwa mama wakato mwina tutabya mukatu ikata nekana tutone kwamba taja ne malito patie wa ndene agriculture
Value addition. Sasa karibu sana.
Kwa majina naitwa Richard Kilu Mutua kutoka Kasinga Sub Location. Swali langu kwa mheshimiwa, katika kaunti ya Machakos kuna wale watoto wanalala wanaitwa chokora na kuna wale walikonjeka akili na kuna wengine ambao ni landless. Ana plan gani ile kwa hawa watu?
Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Good evening. Give me some location. My question is,
Bwana Joseph, I have a question. Yes. You have just said every home will receive 6 kids.
Yes.
For you to start that an initiative,
Yes.
where will you source the money from? Here you have the budget.
I'll explain to you.
Question number 2, to both of you. How would you treat a teenage girl drop out of school due to early pregnancies and marriage? Which initiative would you use to end gender-based violence?
Asante. Thank you. Mwenge, nataka wajibu hizo manake zitasaulika. Joseph, there is a question uliulizwa haujakuwa around. Na ule mate.
Yes. Let me explain it. Let me answer that. It's very important that you know Joseph was born and brought up in Kenya, Amkamba, by culture. I'm from a family of 6, 5 men, 1 sister. I have a wife and 2 daughters and 2 sons. I have neighbors. I talk to them. Why we are told to mathematics, no matter what. Now, they create. They not Imwana. And they said, "Now, I give Monoma Masago." And what is your little kid looking where? Musei wa kuno ngoma musei wa longi. Inyagu, madila manyagu, na madila muto ino monga de kuto longi. Hivyo ndio madila atatu. Wau, uja. Lakini kijao kwenda mtele wa saidi. Thank you. We can so we know ya
You have said that you are going to offer,
yes,
or to give everybody 6 votes.
Yes.
Where are you going to source this income?
Yes.
And hii budget itakuwa imetoka kama wapi na inakaa aje?
Good. When you elect me as governor, the first thing I'm telling you, and I continue telling you, the things after we start the campaign, you'll see I will want to listen to you more than you listen to me. Because I know we have the same problems. Besa ishi kama tuikalambi gukulie we bomu sana hii mudia mwenye twasi we wakili 70 tuamba ingalanduka budget wina pesa si account ulo budget yanu tuwe welo budget tukega na mwita wa prioritization peke tukitwa strategic development plan kikiba strategic development plan. We saw that strategic plan. I've done this for so many years, even for the World Bank. Strategic development plan. We saw that one by kind of prioritization. Okay, kalambia mama sana. Bese nasi akwata siano. Madina maitu alado enda mambe andresi wa nimera. Nyeka ambapo andresi mboi na kuku. Thank you so much. Anyway, kina lelo. Mambo kuna mambo kama pesa. Mambo kama pesa sio. Akisa kana ongele ng'ombe. Ole. Akisa kana ongele ng'ombe. Wadi wale.
There's one question imeulizwa these all leaders about teenage pregnancy. Bwana DG, kuna swali imeulizwa about teenage pregnancy ama mimba za mapema. Si ni kweli? Na wakauliza what is your plan regarding that, because as you remember kuna ile report ilitokea ilikuwa ina count Machakos among the counties that are leading in teenage pregnancy na mambo ya domestic violence. As the incoming governor, what are you planning to do or to address this issue?
Thank you. That can be tackled through what we call as promoting health. That is by ensuring that in the communities, we have people who are educating our young girls about teenage pregnancies. And our nurses, our health workers have such capacities, but we also need to go to the households. We also need to talk about this story in other forums like in the churches. So we will identify suitable stakeholders that we can be able to work with so that we can talk to these girls and ensure that we eliminate teenage pregnancies.
Thank you.
Joseph, if you become the governor, utadili na hiyo issue aje?
After doing the priorities, we'll do a priority first. So, because that one is personal, we make it a family-based thing. So, I will prioritize the family more than any other thing. For our girls, if you want to solve the problem for girls, you have also to solve the problem for boys. Because that problem is psychological and social. It is not actually about the girl or the boy. It is about how the society is. There is a lot of poverty. There is a lot of stress. Because people are suffering. They are so poor. That's why we want to build capacity. Give people gods, cows, no one. Thank you.
I wear two hats. One as a student of Machakos. Thank you so much. My name is Gideon Omare. I wear two hats. One as being a student of Machakos University, two as a resident of Machakos County. Now, I want to challenge the two guys standing here. No one has spoken about technology. And Machakos University has got a space that we can have an ICT center so that we can become a technological hub, not only in Machakos County and Kenya as a whole. Two, I want to ask my friend Joseph a question. Now, Joseph, you gave us your background, which was rich of experience. You have worked as a director in companies which are very serious when it comes to matters social corporate responsibility. Now,
Yes.
Joseph, could you give us a single project that you initiated while you were working in those companies, a project that you can see and touch? Two, my final question to Engineer Maliti. How are you going to handle the issue of waste management in Machakos County? Today, if you walk around Machakos County, all the dustbins are full, sticking to high heavens. Now, it is alleged, it is in the public domain that there is an investor who came in Machakos to install a free recycling plant for waste in Machakos County. He was just away by the demands from the administration that you did today as a sitting governor, deputy governor. Can you explain that? Thank you so much.
Research questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, my name is Mark Muladi. I have a question for the deputy governor. There is a very burning issue which I'm not heard being addressed here about employment for the youth. So I'm asking Engineer Maliti, when you get into the seat of governor, are you going to employ the youths, because the youths have engaged themselves into some very bad, what do I call this, activities like drug abuse? And if you're going to provide employment for the youths, where have you put people living with disabilities? Because we have seen them, we know them, and they've been neglected. Yes. Seriously, this is an issue which must be addressed. And my brother,
Yes.
Joseph, I'm sorry. I have only one question for you.
Yes.
Can you at least tell us 3 roles of the government and of the governor? Because vile tu unaongea vitu, my friend, I'm sorry.
Tafadhali tunyamaze kijana.
Okay, due to time, I will, the interest of we that we have got a chance to enter the campuses and colleges, and ask Honorable Gubernatorial Aspirant here, we have always heard about the dispute between governors and MCAs. And all these citizens here, we were given billions, 10 billion in that year. We were given, MCAs did not pass that bill. Unajua watu wengi hawaelewi hiyo maneno. Ile kitu yenye wanataka yule kiongozi mwenye amechaguliwa na akiwa governor ana make sure ya kwamba there are not those disputes with the MCAs, I don't know, with the speaker, because those are the things that are delaying all the development in the county. Number two, it's about the wealth of this county. Mimi nimefanya research na nikaona na wamu imbele kile nini nikigamba kwa nini. I'm Charles Njeru, I forgot to say my names. I'm Charles Njeru Juma. Nimefanya research na nini area kana yuka rika zindula kwa zile zindula sima Mount Kenya sio onde medudimia na kilo. Na na wabunia mo ala mariana na alama Indonesia ama embe na magaro bao bao. Nilujambe wazizia kasuko gani ni kasuko ka simple thing taminji lekimana ni 350 kaka kilo hivi sawa madu melodimia na kilo sawa baka watermelon melodimia na kilo kimoja watermelon naita 50 bob one watermelon ikuma 12 kgs sawa asipime anadha ndalo bali ile wao kama ndio nenga ni maana mungu yeye maembe tige ndio ndani ya dunia sawa wazia malenge ilenge imwe ndio hiyo ndio iko mimi lakini ile imwe ndio nini sawa kumbe sio isindu zero kwa zema buti
Asante sana.
Governor akeka kilo if the governor comes in should do something to promote our culture as the government. Finally is the please
Tuna time, we have only 10 minutes.
Shortly ya mwisho. Okay, maneno ya mwisho ni kuhusu vijana wetu wenyewe. Simuna wewe ndio walo ile mejiani tena abeda. Yeye aramiana ya colleges na universities. Sawa. Apology. I apologize for that. Now the leaders of this forum are saying that Machakos is performing poorly on education, and my question is hatima ya hao watu ambao hawako manage kuenda university na colleges ni gani? Manake we can't abandon them because of their failure. Tunataka governor akiingia na wale other stakeholders waingie watafute venye wanaweza saidia hawa, ni ndugu zetu, ni dada zetu na tunawapenda na hatuwezi waacha juu walishindwa kuperform vizuri kwa examination.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
And you remember that day last time you were here?
Oh, kijana alikuwa last time.
Yes.
From zero.
Nataka Deputy Governor, maswali yameulizwa mengi, sijui kama utakumbuka yote, but try as you can.
Value addition na wenye hawajaenda college na university, very critical.
Asante, tutaanza na hiyo ya value addition. In my remarks during the debate, I talked about how we are going to ensure that our agricultural produce is value added. You can only do so by bringing in companies that are going to process what we produce in our farms. And I'll give an example. Mangoes. You don't have to go and sell a mango at 5 shillings. When you process a mango to juice, you can fetch even up to 100 shillings. So from my experience in this industrial development, I know for us to be able to attract those people to come and do business here, you must create some incentives so that they can come and start doing that. So I said I will create an incentive scheme which will attract private and local investors to come and invest and start helping our farmers to do value addition, whether it is sorghum, whether it is maize, mangoes, bananas, coffee, and so forth. And if you read my manifesto, which I'm going to release shortly, you read the details of how it will be done. The other question was about technology. And I happen to have been a beneficiary of a scholarship to study technology innovation in South Korea.
And I was sent there when I was sitting in Vision 2030, and I found that for you to be able to make steps in technology innovation, then the universities, the private sector, and the government must work together, because most of the research is done in the universities, but you never commercialize the research that you are doing in the universities, and that is where there is a gap in Kenya and also in Machakos. So when I become the governor of Machakos, I'll sit down with the universities, I'll sit down with the private sector, then I'll bring in the government, and we will discuss the gap and the need, and then promote innovations and technology within Machakos. Then we have one area, for example, of ICT, the Consa City, which I was involved in conceptualization when I was in Vision 20, that sits just a few kilometers from where we are. That is where we expect brilliant students with innovative ideas, especially nice information technology, to go and innovate, and then we can commercialize that within Machakos County. The other question was on what?
Students who never go to university or colleges.
Yeah, students, it was about employment, I think. Youth. Yeah, it was about youth employment. And again, in my remarks during the debate, I said I will create an enabling environment that will bring in investors. Because you need to ask yourself a question. Why is it that when you walk around and you say you are seeking for employment, you are not getting it? It's because the opportunity is not there. We need to create that opportunity so that you can get that employment. And the government sits central in that. One of the reasons why in Kenya we have been unable to create employment for our youths, one, is because we are not attracting investors, and even our local investors are not expanding because there are no business opportunities to do so. What countries do, they invest in their private companies by a way of creating an incentive system. And when I say incentive system, it's a taxation system. You can also offer free land, and that is what we are doing in Machakos County. We offer to give investors land here so that they can come and pitch and start doing their business. But people who did not understand the concept, people started fighting that concept and saying we are giving people who are not from Machakos free land. They will not be able to see the benefits we were going to get immediately by offering those people lease for the land that is sitting here.
Asante sana.
Thank you. So the other area of helping the youth, of course, we need to tool the youth. When you are from Form 4, umetoka Form 4, wewe umefunzwa tu English, Kiswahili, History, CRE. You do not have employable skills. Because in the industry they're asking you, what are you? Are you a mechanic? Are you a welder? Are you a painter? Are you, what are you? So one of the, how I intend to solve that is by ensuring that I strengthen our TVET institutions within Machakos County. And in some of them, and I want to tell this bench, I will create them as centers of excellence as opposed to how they are structured now. If you go to one of our TVETs today, you will find they are doing all the courses. They are doing plumbing, they are doing masonry, they are doing textile, they are doing everything. When you do everything, you do not excel. To ensure that they excel, I will ensure that these centers only do up to a maximum of 2 or 3 courses. And then we pump capital into such institutions so that if you go into one of them, and allow me to finish this, so that if you go to one of them, you leave that particular training institution into the job market with the skills. If you are interviewed and you are given a brush to paint, you pick the brush, paint, and then you are given a job. That is the kind of thinking that I have, and that I've included in my manifesto. When you access my manifesto, soon you'll be able to see how we'll be able to do that. But to do that, we require funds. That is why it has not happened in Kenya. So what I'll do, I'll
seek for partnerships because it's a very expensive affair. So I'll go abroad, seek partnerships with the governments, private sector, and other players, even the civil society, so that we can be able to support training of our youth. They need employable skills.
Thank you, Gigi.
Kuna swali James ameulizwa.
Ameulizwa kwanza
Nasikia tuko na only 2 minutes. Lakini kuna swali moto hapa kwa Deputy Governor. Hautaepuka, itabidi tutarudi hapo tafadhali. Joseph, kabla ukunywe maji.
Yes.
Jamaa amesema akikuangalia. Kiamsa, that one, it is also good. It tells us the roles of a governor. Si aliulizwa?
Yeah, the roles of a governor.
Akaulizwa, swali linahusiana na kwamba you seem to be a joker, you seem to be a comedian, like a person mwenye hajaamua.
Okay. Let me say this. This life doesn't need people who are very serious. Let me tell you, I will always be happy. Why should I be sad? Why should I don't laugh? Why is it cheke? Kwani maisha tunaisha tukae tumekasirika? You are going to get a happy governor. And you are going to be happy. And when you are happy, there will be less suicide in the community. There will be less gender balance. Because people will be happy. You open their heart. Ukifungua roho, you will hear there is less problems in families. When you have an open heart, when people go through things in their heart, they blow up like a bazooka. They blow up. You hear people, there's a lot of domestic violence, gender violence. These problems of teenage pregnancies, it's about people who are stressed. They are not happy. And if you ask them, did you create yourself that you believe you are carrying the world? Only God knows these problems. Unless you believe in Him, you pray, and then you'll be happy. I'm happy because I'm a Christian. I believe there's another life.
Tell us the roles of a governor.
The roles of a governor are derived from the Constitution. The purpose of a devolved government is to give power to the people so that they can be in charge of their own lives. And because of that, I am going to make sure that you people, you give priority to guns and God keeping. Because this governor, this county is yours.
Nataka swali moja ya mwisho. This question ya mwisho iliulizwa and it is very critical. Kuna mjamaa hapa aliuliza swali ya contracts pale hospitalini na contracts zingine. And the deputy governor answered akisema the information haiwezi peanwa ukweli. But I want to read to the deputy governor sheria ya procurement inasema nini. Public procurement is supposed to provide for citizen needs and therefore must be accountable to the public. Article 9 of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption requires all state parties develop public procurement systems that are transparent, competitive, and objecting in awarding contracts. In short, access to information is a key to this accountability. Hakuna vile utasema, I will bring you kwa meza ya vetting without you being for you to tell us who are the contractors You need to tell us, because this is our county, we are your employer, and we need to see even a competitive process. That's why we just want to understand about your swali. It was asked by this guy.
Very quickly. Wants to answer you. One, from where I sit, it is not practical for me as I run the county to know all the contractors that have been It is not by name.
Skizani.
I can't remember. I can't remember. Yeah, by name. I won't be able to say. One, because I want to explain.
Hello, Skizani.
Tupe time tafadhali. Because contract is in the counties we have ministries. That's the way the national government has ministries. And in each ministry there is a minister in charge and a chief officer in charge. So even from where the governor sits, you will not be able to know that there is somebody who is supplying mangoes in Machakos by name. He knows there are people who are supplying, but you will not be able to say by name that so and so is supplying mangoes in Machakos level 5. You will not be able to know who is supplying rice in Mwala level 4. You will not be able to know who is supplying meat in Kamuno level 4. So what I'm trying to say here is that you cannot pin me to say in very specific terms that I know the name. I don't, but I know there is a contractor.
So how will these people of Machakos
I want you to know
be the watchdog without having that access to information?
I want you to do this. There is a way of getting that information. I want you to do this. Go into the Machakos website. You will see all the pre-qualified contractors and who has been pre-qualified to do what, including the ones who are doing it. I'm not a machine. I won't walk around.
Pigieni makofi. Clap for Joseph also. Clap for Joseph. Clap for Wanamaliti. Umewaelewa zaidi? Umewaelewa zaidi? Yes, yeah, I'm coming there. The reason as to why we are asking them these questions. Si ya kwamba sipendi Joseph, and it is not that I don't like Engineer Maliti, but it is because we want you people to understand them very well, and that's why we are saying this forum is known as Nani Kiongozi. Ukweli ama si kweli? You are saying you have a last remark, 1 minute, as we finish.
I wanted to say that I talked a lot of leadership and governance issues, because one of the problems in service delivery is leadership and governance. And for me to be able to achieve my goals in Machakos County as a governor, one, I will sign a performance contract with the civil society on what I will deliver within the 5 years. So that is what I will put all the workers in Machakos County under performance contract so that I can be able to measure what you are doing every day, and we can be able to evaluate you after every year. We can appraise you every year. Those of you will do well, fine. Those of you will not be doing well, will support you up to some time when we'll think that now you are not required in the service.
Asante sana.
And we push you out of the service.
Joseph, your last remark.
Okay, next me as governor, I'm going to implement the systems theory of running a government. It is called the KPI, because the government is this a county government. You can call the KPI. Governance key performance indicators. 2, I'm going to run the county using the MPO. We are going to add the G, governance by management by objectives, as opposed to government by management by walking around. The current governance we can see is called governance by managing by talking around, walking around. I want to implement governance by objectives, governance by key performance indicators, which are pegged on logical framework of project management.
whereby you do key monitoring and evaluation of projects using key performance indicators.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wapigeni makofi. Just have a seat here. Bwana Maleti, just have a seat. Joseph, have a seat. I want to call Mutisia. Mutisia, kindly come. And our technical team, if there is anything you would want to announce, kindly also. And we want to thank all of you. Najua kukaa hapa kutoka saa 5 sio mchezo, si ni kweli? Lakini it is for the benefit of our county. Si ni kweli? And in briefly, in a few, we are going to get the results. Mumewasikiza, mumewapima, mumewaeka kwenye mizani. You'll be ready to know about that. And we had a vetting team. Kindly. We had a vetting team. Tumekuwa nayo from the ward development kule chini. Mike, probably I would give you that opportunity to introduce them. Kindly.
Mheshimiwa wa Ng'ombe na Mbuzi na Pepo. Gavana wa Ng'ombe, Mbuzi na Pepo.
Okay. Kuna hapa na vetting committee, nataka tu wajiintroduce. They tell us their name and who they are. Wamefanya kazi nzuri sana. Let's start on this side.
God is good. And all the time. God is good. All the time. God is good. Thank you. I am Madam Yvonne Musyoka. I am a teacher of Kiswahili and CRE in a school in Yata called Kadiani. And I'm also in the leadership of Teachers Kuppet Union. I'm the vice chairperson. And I'm happy to be in the vetting committee and happy to have interacted with you. Thank you and may God bless you. Tunaweza sema kitu kidogo shortly. Thank you. Having been in the leadership of teachers since 2013 and having been a resident of Machakos since then, I have seen some serious motivation in people wanting to participate in politics. There is a very young man who has motivated me, and I believe he qualifies to be my student, and that is the way to go. We have seen contestants who are very young here coming to defeat with, I don't want to call them, let me call them their parents. That is the way to go. I want to give an example of what happened a few days ago in Bomet County, where a very young lady with no expensive clothes, but rich in ideas, got a nomination of UTA. And I believe it is also a time now as residents of Machakos, we embrace talent and good governance. It doesn't matter how old you are. Let us give each one of them an opportunity to explain to us. It is not this is just a case study of what is happening in a few sub-counties. But from Ulolongo to Kaiwa, to Yata at Chua, and to Kalama, let us listen to these people. I want to say we have made elections very expensive, as waiting for handouts always. Sometimes, let us take the money, but let us listen to these people when they come to us, so that at the end of the day, we'll be able to question them. There is also a very young governor, MP from Meru. I cannot remember his name, who went with a bicycle asking for votes, and was elected, and he has represented his people well. At the school where I teach, Governor Maleti I'm a teacher. I can't allow. Thank you very much, and may God bless you all. Asanteni sana, but I want to say this. Let us listen also to women. I saw very few women, MCAs, coming on the ground to ask for votes. Ladies, let us come out and let us lead in this great county of ours. Let us lead from the front. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you. All protocols of the good evening. Good evening again. Thank you so much. I'm Nicodemus Zakai Mwoki, the Youth President, Machakos County. And since we started this journey, it has been so insightful and it has opened our minds. We have understood our leaders in different dimensions. I know some of the leaders you had in mind when you were starting the journey are not the leaders you have now in your mind. So I really wish to congratulate you people for finding it fine and good to listen to your leaders. So go make choice, and remember the choice you are making from 10th of August is your judgment day all the way for the next 5 years. Thank you. God bless you.
Retired teacher and a proud one. Thank you.
Asante, mimi naitwa Dr. Nzinga, nimekuwa hapa nanyi na hii nitawaambia baadaye ile iko katika hii karatasi. Jioni njema.
My name is Faith Modoki, the acting CEO of SECEB, and so Engineer Maditi is actually my boss. I've learned many things. There are so many ideas that you have learned today, and I'm sure so that the aspirants are going to, even if you don't get elected, you will see how to work with whoever is in office to implement those ideas.
My name is Tito Musioka.
So before they announce the results, I just want to thank a few people. First, I thank very much you all, watu wa Machakos. Makofi kwa nyinyi. You have made me proud, and everybody is very proud for Machakos County because of what you are doing. Some specific individuals, the administration, even the administration, you are part of the mobilization to have people come today. Just stand up and thank you. Even at the administration, chiefs, sub-chiefs, ACCs, please stand up and just thank you very much. They have a coffee call from all over the place. They have a coffee call. Yeah, that's part of the life thing. Also want to thank I Choose Lifestyle. Just wave. Okay, those young and pretty people, thank you so much for putting this event together. And then Machakos University students, are they here? Are you here? University of Machakos? Machakos University, just stand up. Comrades. What a cut. Comrades. Comrades. Comrades, university students, so just stand up. Don't lift your hands. Up. Comrades. Comrades. On. Okay. Yes, thank you. Normally, we are very proud of you. Kwa hivyo, asanteni sana, asanteni to the aspirants. You come, and it's not an easy thing. Sasa will announce the results. What we saw in Kangundo, what they said is that whoever wins, first everybody has won today. Kila mtu is a winner. Maditi, you're a winner. Joseph, you're a winner. And what Kangundo agreed is that whoever wins in the elections, we will support them and work together towards delivering these services. Yeah, that's what Kangundo said. They say, it's not about me, it's about the service for the people, and whoever wins, we will support them and begin working together. What I would like to ask both Maditi and Joseph is this. Election is which day? 9. Our watu wamesema, the already have developed war development committees. and sub-county development committees. And they are calling them Development, Welfare, and Social Accountability Committees. They have their priorities. Wamesema if they elect you on 9th, on 10th, wana report kwako at 8:30. Kazi yanze. Kazi yanze. Kila mtu tunatoka. Niwo kanatingo. On 10th, saidi ya nusu. We all begin working together. Because it's not about the governor, it's not about the senator, it's all of us as people of Machakos County working together to make this county work. And to make it the best county possible in this country. Tuko pamoja? Tuimwe? Hatukumeana? Siku gani? Na wale wasikiki kamba, siku gani? Siku gapi? Saa ngapi? Saa 2:30. Hizi kana ibetisi yetu kana nilungasia. Ita nilungasia. Just stop running for the post. Don't do on 10. Wakaenda kweli. Okay, so let's hear the results now. I think let's start with Dr. Nzinga.
These are the results for the women rep debate that happened this morning. We had 2 aspirants, Selina Kioko Mheshimiwa and Rita Ndungwa Mheshimiwa. So Selina scored 44% and Rita Ndungwa scored 83%.
Just before I announce these results, I want to say that we should continue these discussions. And we are, while ICL covers a bigger part of Kenya, Machakos County Development Forum just covers Machakos. And we are looking forward to the governor who comes in to utilize these brains in Machakos County Development Forum. And just by being a member of Machakos, a citizen, you are part of that. That's why we are here. Look for us and then find out how you can be an effective member through registration. And we will continue. We started, as Mackenzie said, in 1992. We will continue with this kind of forums. Today, we had 2 aspirants for gubernatorial position. And that is, we have Francis Maleti and Joseph Musyoka Masini. Joseph Musyoka Masini had an average score of 43%. And you know, of course, there are other aspirants, but we want to support those who are here. Francis Maleti scored 75%.
So there you have it. And I want you people, Adoma Masako, you commit to me 2 things. I'm gonna make 2 requests. 2 requests only. Ya kwanza, mambo ya kutunebwa tuwache. Mambo ya kutunebwa tuwache. Tafadhali. Mtu akikuletea pesa mwambie ni Asani, I am not that cheap. Hassan and daughter. Let me repeat, because I'm not about popularity. I am about doing the right thing. Hey, ambia mwenzako. Wao, kwa kutunibwa. Kwa kutunibwa toisi yeye. Wewe kutunibwa. Lechaki tune. Opo ndo ikwero kutune bia hii. Ende ikwera. Niendea. Wao maondo wasu weka na Mungu. Okay? Ya pili, let me repeat. Kikamba you cannot translate kutune kwa hizo. Kwa Kiswahili ndio kumekre. Na sijui it's a very hard translation. The second thing, tumeona wale wamekuja kusindio interview. Wamekuwa na courage kwa interview. Sindio? Sasa tuanze injili. Injili ni kila mtu apeleke hiyo injili nje. Kila mtu aseme mimi nitacommit to talk to about 20 other people so that we can begin driving this agenda together. Sindio? Ndio kanativo. Ndio kanativo. Inundu we. Ni lazima we start this culture of public interrogations. You cannot be telling us that you are looking for a post and you are not willing to come to answer questions and be able to tell us about your education background, to tell us about your experience, to tell us that. It's not possible. You understand? Only last to bring transparency and accountability as a culture in this country. And so I really thank the ones who are here today, and let's begin preaching that culture as we go out. Okay? With that, I would like just to suggest we stand up, we sing the national anthem. I think there's a chief, the host chief, and then there is the cleric of this university to pray the closing prayer.
Asanteni sana. You are welcome to Mwenge sub-location. I'm the area chief. Asanteni sana kuja feel at home when you are leading. Tusimame. Tuimbe wimbo wa taifa. Wenye akona kofia tafadhali. Ee Mungu nguvu yetu, ilete baraka kwetu, akiwe ngao na mlinzi, na tukae na udugu, amani na uhuru, raha tupate na ustawi. Thank you very much.
Madam, please come and pray for us.
Wacha na tuombe kabla hatujaomba. Neno la Mungu likauliza, hii mifupa mikavu inaweza pata uhai? Bwana akajibu, wewe wajua. Tuombe pamoja. Baba na Mwenyezi Mungu,